Welcome to the podcast entitled Health and Wellness Briefs, Tactics for a Better You. I'm Dr. Bernadette Melnyk, Vice President and Chief Wellness Officer at The Ohio State University. This podcast series is brought to you by my CWO office and wonderful Buckeye Wellness team in order to provide you with evidence-based micro-learning modules to optimize your health and well-being. As gratitude, or what I call vitamin G, is one of the simplest evidence-based strategies to improve mood, sleep, optimism, and reduce stress and blood pressure. I want you to take a few seconds to think about who or what you are grateful for today. My gratitude today goes out for Dr. Amaya. I was really fortunate upon starting my position as CWO for Ohio State to hire Megan in the first couple of months as my director of health promotion. Megan and I have worked intensely over the past 12 years to really build and sustain a wonderful wellness culture, along with our terrific university-wide wellness team to improve health and wellness outcomes for faculty, staff, and students. I think one of our greatest pieces of secret sauce is that we take a multi-component strategy that's comprehensive at Ohio State, from top leadership to the grassroots, all within a culture of well-being. Megan, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Bern. I'm so excited to be with you today.
Would you talk a little bit, given the strategy we put into place many years ago, what you believe has been the critical elements of building and sustaining a wellness culture?
Sure. It's, as you mentioned, multifaceted and multi-pronged. So there are a lot of different, what I like to call, ingredients that can go into a culture of well-being. I'll start off with a few, and then we can see where the conversation goes. First and foremost, it has been so helpful at Ohio State to have someone like you in the position that you're in. You are the one out there championing well-being at multiple levels of the organization, in particular, the leadership level. And so you, in your role as the Chief Wellness Officer, interact with the president, the provost, the deans and VPs across the organization. And that is really instrumental for an initiative in an organization as large as Ohio State. So that's the first and foremost. Second, leadership. Without leadership support for a health and wellness initiative, you can still implement one. It just won't carry as much weight if you don't have that leadership out there, not only walking the talk, but verbally supporting, fiscally resourcing the wellness initiative. And we can go into more detail on that one. A few other ingredients would be manager supervisor, and that would be multiple levels in the organization. You might have associate deans and assistant vice presidents in that layer. Again, managers and supervisors, folks that are responsible for individuals underneath them, but then also report up to the leadership at the university. that has really become a talking point in the last, I would say, 5 to 10 years in the field, how important that level is for support of an initiative. You mentioned a few moments ago, wellness champions. Those are what I like to call your everyday employees, faculty, staff, however you refer to them in your organization. You also said grassroots that are out there trying to promote wellness in departments and units. And without them, your wellness program isn't going to go very far. One more item I'll quickly mention are the resources that are supported by your top level, your mid-level manager supervisors. It can be space, it can be fiscal, it can be staffing. That is so important because you really can't run a comprehensive wellness program without the resources. And within that resource conversation, I would also mention partnerships are really important. And if they can be internal partnerships, they can be external partnerships. I like to say there's no I in wellness. And so you need to have those folks at the organization and beyond to help bring activities and support and other types of variables that go into your programming.
So you and I developed this valid and reliable wellness culture and environment scale that we actually embed into our annual personal health assessment. What we have seen is that in our data, if people perceive they live in a culture that supports their well-being, they definitely have better health and well-being outcomes and less burnout. And I think one of the things that we do well at Ohio State is take an evidence-based approach to health and well-being. We measure outcomes diligently, and we use that data to then target units, people across the university that have areas that need to improve. And I think that's been another strength. But getting back to leadership, leaders must walk the talk. If they're not encouraging their folks or role modeling healthy behaviors, their people aren't likely to do it as well. You have done a fabulous job really providing strong leadership for our Buckeye Wellness Innovator Program. Those are our wellness ambassadors. Would you talk a little bit about how you've structured that program? Because a lot of universities or academic health systems have these ambassadors, but they don't have a structured program. So can you speak to that program a bit?
Absolutely. And I want to express my appreciation to you. In 12 years ago, you let me fly with that program. And to give a little history on it, there was a wellness champion team that existed prior to Bern and I arriving at Ohio State, but nothing was going on with it. And so I started to look into some things, ask some questions. This was 12 years ago, and found out very quickly, again, that there wasn't any type of activities going on. So I came to you and said, Bern, let's launch this again. And so we were able to. I wanted it to be different from other wellness champion teams that I had also facilitated previously to working at Ohio State, but then also what I am aware of in the outside environments in different organizations. This one, we have what we call 3 buckets. So the first one is communication. Our Buckeye Wellness Innovators, our wellness champions, that's foundationally what individuals in this role should be doing, is communicating. And that's no different than other wellness champion teams. We also like to say the second bucket is walking the talk, role modeling. And it's a little looser. I shouldn't say looser. Maybe it's just a little intangible at times. A lot of times our BWIs are out there leading teams for something, or they're trying to get leadership to do X, Y, or Z and sharing that story. So they're doing, it's beyond communication, but they're also role modeling. The third bucket is what was different at the time when we started this program, which was to have our wellness champions go out and actually do wellness in their departments. I had not come across that in any organization that I had found to date. Now, again, this was 12 years ago. Now, a lot of individuals that are like myself have implemented this in their wellness champion teams because we are looked at as a national role model for wellness champions. So our BWIs actually implement wellness activities in their departments and units, which is, first, it's great for our team because we cannot be everywhere. And these folks are an extension of our team, and they are bringing wellness to life, bringing it to their people because we aren't able to get out to all the units and departments across campus. So that is what makes our program unique. Again, now more and more organizations are doing that. In the beginning, it was very new. So our BWIs love doing that. We now provide grant opportunities. We've actually been doing that for quite a while now. Small funding up to $500 for our BWIs to implement wellness activities. And there is a whole slew of fun and innovative and evidence-based activities that they are all doing in their areas. So we have that structure in place. We've also created a wellness champion corner. So our BWIs can go into a corner and access all sorts of resources. We do every other month webinars so that they're up to date on information that's coming out from the wellness partners. We do a luncheon twice a year with our BWIs. We like to give them little thank you gifts, and the lunch is obviously a thank you. And Bern, you like to go in and give your burn boost and reinvigorate them. So we have a really robust program, and we try to track as many outcomes with our program, which is really important for wellness practitioners to be able to provide annual reports, biannual reports to our leadership, our stakeholders, because they want to know that the resources they're investing in the program is actually giving a value and potentially a return on investment. And so we do track, and I'm happy to share some of those metrics, but certainly participation and how much we spend on the grants and how much we spend on our programming, et cetera.
Yeah, those outcomes have been so key. We have had such a philosophy of in God we trust, but everybody else better bring data to the table. But you've got to be diligent about using that data to then target interventions where they're needed. The BWI, or Buckeye Wellness Innovator Program, I always share with people that it is such a low cost, yet very high impact strategy that really helps to create this culture of well-being all across the university. And it's been so rewarding to see it grow from our first cohort of about 50 to now 700, all across the university, including our medical center and extension campuses. So again, Megan, I'm so blessed with you. Thank you for all you do in working collaboratively with me and so many other people across our university to build a robust wellness culture. Thank you for tuning in today to Health and Wellness Briefs. Tune in to other podcasts in this series to learn more about evidence-based tips for a healthier you.